In this video, we are going to talk about Evergrande, which is China's second largest property developer based in Guangzhou, the capital of Guangdong province in the south of the country. It was founded in 1996 by Zhu Jiayin and it sells apartments mostly to the upper and middle income dwellers. In 2018, it became the most valuable real estate company in the world. Talking about the area of operations of Evergrande, the company has several units dabbling in wide range of industries, including real estate development, electric vehicles, healthcare services, consumer products, video and television production units, and even a theme park. If we consider scale of operations, Evergrande owns more than 1300 real estate projects in over 280 cities in China. It owns 2% of all newly constructed real estate in China. Its property services management arm is involved in nearly 2800 projects across more than 310 cities in China. The firm says it has 200,000 employees but indirectly creates more than 3.8 million jobs every year. So how big is Evergrande? It is the world's most indebted property developer. Currently, the total assets of Evergrande Group have reached $356 billion and annual sales volume exceeded $108 billion. To put it in perspective, India's largest property developer DLF has sales of only $1 billion. Evergrande's shares and bonds are included in indexes across Asia. So what exactly happened with this Evergrande Group? Zhu Jiayin, the founder of the group, is very well connected with political elites of the Chinese Communist Party. This prompted the Chinese banks to advance loans beyond the repayment ability of the group. Fearing that the housing market had become overheated, China introduced a set of policies to cool down the sector, and in particular to rein in heavy borrowing of property developers like Evergrande. Most prominent among the measures last year was a 3 red lines policy that requires developers to bring down debt levels below certain threshold before they are able to borrow more money from financial institutions. As a result, Evergrande was caught out by new limits that China's regulators imposed on real estate related borrowings as a part of Communist Party's campaign to reduce reliance on debt and pull down property prices. Evergrande has also made unrelated diversifications into electric vehicles and internet. A lot of cash was deployed into these businesses where the company lacked core competency. This crackdown on property developers soaked up liquidity from Evergrande's bonds. Following the regulatory crackdown and resultant liquidity crunch in Evergrande, the company's stock price went from around 16 Hong Kong dollars to 2.3 Hong Kong dollars, whereas the bond price has crashed and an evergreen bond is quoting at an eye-popping 1208% as yield to maturity. How is Evergrande's financial position? Evergrande accumulated a debt of $300 billion as it acquired assets and expanded over the years. In addition to bondholders, the company owes 667 billion yuan, that is equivalent to $103 billion, to construction companies and other business creditors. So let us understand who all could be directly affected. So first let's talk about banks. The Chinese developer is so huge that the fallout from a potential failure could hurt not only the Chinese economy but spread to markets beyond. The banking industry would be among the first to be hit if there are any contagion effects on the wider property sector in China. However, the Evergrande situation is concerning though manageable, as Evergrande's debt is roughly 2 to 3% of Chinese banks' core Tier 1 capital. European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde has said that Europe's direct exposure to Evergrande would be limited. Secondly, bondholders would be affected. In terms of total offshore bonds outstanding, Evergrande Group has approximately 19 billion, which is equivalent to roughly 9% of the total offshore bond market. Evergrande has missed its interest payment, which was on Thursday. The property major has a 30-day grace period to meet its payment commitment, post which it will be considered a default. What could be the end game? First, bailout by Beijing. This is unlikely as Chinese authorities have told local officials to prepare for a potential demise of Evergrande. Second, global financial meltdown. This too is unlikely as the impact is likely to be China-centric. The company has only about $19 billion in total offshore bonds outstanding, which is not a very large sum. Third, will it be another Lehman Brothers event? This too is unlikely as a major difference between Evergrande crisis and Lehman collapse is that Evergrande holds land while Lehman held financial assets. Evergrande is facing a liquidity crunch although it owns a large land bank. Fourth, managed collapse. It is possible. IMF chief economist Geeta Gopinathan told Reuters this week that the organization believes China has the tools and the policy space to prevent this turning into a systemic crisis. Let us understand the impact of this situation. Firstly, let us talk about Indian metal companies. So Indian metal companies could possibly be affected by this crisis as China plays an important role in determining global commodity prices, including that of metals. China's real estate sector is major consumer of steel, so lower demand from the sector could send steel prices tumbling. Shares of Indian steel makers have been on a downtrend in recent sessions as Evergrande warned again it could default. However, the Evergrande situation has a short-term effect on the Indian metal companies, and the recent sell-off were more related to a cooling off in certain metal prices. In our view, Indian metal stocks could be affected in the short term, depending upon additional steps taken by Chinese authorities and what sort of pricing impact it could have. However, the future of Indian metal stocks is likely to be positive due to steady recovery in India's domestic economy in recent months, fueled by the government policies towards infrastructure projects. Let us consider the export business. If the currency of a country depreciates, exports become cheaper. In case the yuan depreciates during a Chinese slowdown, Indian commodity companies will face intense competition from Chinese companies in exports. Therefore, commodity exporting companies in India will face the axe if China faces an economic slowdown. Let's talk about banks and financial institutions. So many banks and financial institutions have exposure to the company's bonds. A default on the interest payment of the bond could negatively affect these institutions. Evergrande will have over 240 billion yuan, that is $37 billion of bills and trade payables from contractors to settle, and around 100 billion yuan of that amount is due this year. Therefore, banks and financial institutions who have exposure to these suppliers and contractors might be negatively impacted. However, in our view, Indian banks do not have direct exposure to the finance and property sector in China. As a result, any negative impact on Indian banks is unlikely to happen. Talking about foreign investments, in near term there may be minor outflows from the Indian market as global investors with significant exposure to Chinese developers seek to rebalance their portfolios due to losses and redemption pressure. However, in the mid to long term, this could result in higher allocation to India by foreign investors as an alternative to China. So what should you watch out for? The primary thing we think investors should be watching out for in the coming weeks or months will be the upcoming coupon payments on offshore bonds, as this could be the trigger for a credit event. The next interest payment is on 29th September and 11th October. Let us talk about the conclusion. The Evergrande is unlikely to be a major threat to the global financial system as exposure of offshore investors to Evergrande bonds is only $19 billion. The Evergrande fiasco has been in the making for some time. Hence, the global markets have already discounted the likely fallout. Lastly, we need to watch out for the next interest payment dates. We hope you liked this video. If you found it informative, do like it and share it. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. And we will see you again with another such major update. Until then, goodbye.